Hi there, I'm Jonny Lieberman, and I am standing deep in the heart of Silicon Valley at the headquarters of an all-new electric car company named Lucid. I'm standing next to their new flagship, the Air. Now, this car right here has over 1,000 horsepower, can run the quarter mile in 9.9 seconds, and can go over 500 miles on a single charge. This gold one, it's called the Dream Edition. This is the first one out the gate, and I'm about to talk to their Vice President of Design, Derek Jenkins, and he's gonna tell us all about this car. Derek, come join me.
Hi, Johnny.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing? Good to see you.
Good, so my first question, I guess, is tell me everything.
Yeah, just all in one go.
Yeah,
huh?
why not? My first question though is, from a design point of view, when you look at this car, especially the hard side, there's something different about it. The wheelbase for a sedan seems to really be stretched out. Is there a reason beyond design that you guys did that?
Yeah, I mean, this car is truly unique, especially in my career, in my experience, where we're really designing the car from the inside out. And this is a new platform, it's new technology. We have these amazing compact components in our motor, inverter, our battery packs, and that's allowed us to really concentrate on the cabin space. Stretched out the wheelbase, stretched out the cabin itself, made this really long, elongated, sleek cabin, and that's an approach that we've specifically focused on for Lucid Air.
Well, let's talk about efficiency. I was going over the stat sheet, and 1,000 horsepower, cool.
That's pretty crazy.
Under 10 in the quarter mile. But the one that caught my eye, and I'm kind of a geek, was the drag coefficient claim of 0.21. And I'm old enough to remember when people would brag about 0.39.
Absolutely.
And below 0.3 was impossible. You had to be like an Airstreamer or something.
Yeah.
So how did you do that?
I mean, obviously a number like that doesn't just happen. We literally from day one, from conception, we were thinking about aerodynamics. And we really optimized the front of the car, thinking about it more like an aircraft really, without big holes and vents, minimize the thermal cooling only where we absolutely need it. We have a lot of small openings that also manage airflow and optimize flow down the side of the car, flow over the top of the hood. And then it's a ton of tiny things, incremental little shifts that bring that CD down, bring it lower, bring it lower, bring it lower.
Can we talk about the face of the car? So, this wraparound light, and I guess that's going to be the Lucid signature going forward. What was the thinking behind that?
There's two primary things that define the face of the car. The first one is lighting. So we really concentrated on this really sleek lighting blade. We have a unique lighting technology called micro lens array, and that's a wafer type lens technology that's hundreds of tiny lenses as opposed to one big lens.
Sure.
And that allows us to get the lighting aperture really slim. It's smaller than an inch in height, which will be the smallest in the industry when it comes out. Yet it's super accurate and very energy efficient. So it draws down less energy, so that's very important. The other side of it is what we talked about earlier, it's aerodynamics. And it's all that aero management. We said, let's take it to the extreme. Let's slim down all these openings to the smallest they can possibly be, like at the front of an aircraft, and think of it like that. And then the other details that exist, whether it's a small slot here or an opening there, those are to further manage the airflow. And so you add all that stuff up, that became the aesthetic of the front, and obviously balancing it from an artistic standpoint.
Right, it has to look okay.
That's the face of the car. There should be no confusion in the customer's mind that this is an electric car.
Right. The screens, can you talk to me about the reason they are the way they are?
Yeah, I mean, the screen and display, we call it the glass cockpit. It's really a defining element in the interior of the car. Once we had this amazing space figured out and the comfort, we wanted the instrument panel or the dash to be very minimal, very simple. And we worked really hard to develop screens that were as floating and as thin and as contoured as possible. The display that we have in front of the driver is 34 inches, single piece of glass, fully curved in top view and fully curved in front view. There's no square corners on this display and not a single straight line. We have a prismatic display down below in the center console. That is for both driver and passenger. What's really great about that, though, is it interacts with the screen above. So we have something called application flow, and that's when I open navigation, music, or phone on my top display. if I get select information like change the station or call my wife or whatever, just quick stuff, if I want more information, I just swipe down and it appears on the lower display in its full application. So then I can pinch and zoom, find a place to get
like
coffee.
Minority Report style.
Exactly.
Very cool. Very
but
cool.
it's a great way of giving that engagement. Or if the passenger wants to set the music, swipe down. Now they get the full playlist of music, and I think that's really great.
At the rear, it's like a clamshell trunk.
Yeah.
And I always, to me, I think it was like, the Audi Q5 and I think the Lincoln MKC, they had these huge clamshell trunks where the opening wrapped around.
Yeah.
What was the purpose of doing it that way?
Yeah, it's interesting because, the cabin goes along, and then there's this line that cuts the pillar, and that goes right through the side of the car and defines that clamshell, like a C-130 cargo plane type of thing.
Yeah.
And that was an early sketch from one of our designers, and it was like, how cool would that be if the shut line came all the way down the side, wrapped around the back? But the big reward there aesthetically and functionally is you come around the back, there's no shut lines. It's super clean. We have this enormous rear tail light that's all one piece from edge to edge. The other thing that happens functionally is the aperture, the openings of the actual trunk is really wide.
It's huge.
I could put a snowboard in sideways. I can put a golf bag in sideways. So it's it's really good functional. It gives you access to the little cubbies in the corners, much easier than traditional. So there is a win all the way around, and it really is a defining feature of the back of the car.
So, this Dream Edition here, it has 2 motors and it makes X amount of power, and you'll have one that has 3, one that has 1 and less and more power.
Sure.
How do you teach a customer that by just looking at the back of the car? Is it in numbers or doesn't matter?
Yeah, so we're playing with a whole range of things. Exterior finishes, interior finishes will be limited in certain base, middle, and high. In our case, we have the Air Touring, and the Grand Touring, and then the Dream Edition is the limited launch edition. Yeah? So in this case, with Dream Edition, we get the special Eureka Gold bronze finish, and then we have unique badging throughout the interior.
Okay.
A complete Santa Monica interior theme is special for just launch edition, and of course, the Aero Dream wheel is one-off for this launch series.
Well, Derek, thank you very much. And I think I actually did trick you into telling me everything.
Sure did.
Everything about the new Lucid Air, specifically the Dream Edition. For more information, please go to MotorTrend.com.